welcome to Two Tangle Tuesday, where we do 2 tangles in 20 minutes or less. Today, we're going to be going back to the beginning of Zentangle and doing 2 original tangles. And those are Drupe and Pokeroot. So I'm going to first make my frame. Since we're going back to the original tangles, let's make a frame like we used to. Like I used to, I guess I should say. We're going to put a dot in each corner and then connect those dots with a line. Now the first one that we're going to draw is Drupe. So, and Drupe kind of starts off like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a curvy X. And I really want my X not to meet in the middle, if that makes sense. So, okay, it's not directly in the middle. That's what I wanted. So you can see most of my lines are curved. The one that goes up and down here doesn't always get curved, but it is what it is, right? And you could put this center like anywhere. You could put it over here, here. Just, I wouldn't put it directly in the center of the tile. So now the next step is to outline these lines, well, or of them, right? So now that those are ordered, we're going to draw in what is supposed to be in Drupe. But we're not going to draw it all the way around the whole entire thing. We're going to leave a couple of those empty for some Pokeroot. So I am going to start in this one right here. And so what we do is we draw like a big arc going up like that. It's a pretty deep arc, I want to say. Okay, and then we go down a little bit. Well, that's a lot, so okay, and that's all I'm going to go with for right now. And then what I'm going to do in these next spaces is I'm going to use this to know where the parallel lines need to go. I do want them to sort of match up. I'm going to decide to kind of break that frame right there, but that's okay. Frames are just suggestions. But on this side, let's see. Yeah, this side I'm gonna do the same. It's not that much. There we go. So one of the things about combining this with other tangles is that if you come to a point here, so like I came to a point here where really when I did my aura, I didn't go up enough to actually be able to fit this little shape in there, right? So I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's where I'll start doing some of my Pokeroot. So I'm gonna go back on this side. The thing about Zentangle is it leaves you with a lot of different interesting choices that you can make artistically. And you kind of got to make them on the fly. So I am, okay, also going to break that frame there. Alrighty. And I'm going to do one more row. Or one more piece, I guess I should say. Okay, now we're going to do the Pokeroot, and we're going to actually stick it in these spaces. So what I generally like to do is just kind of start it off with one little Pokeroot. And I usually can't fit the whole thing in there, but I want them to be squished. So I want my Pokeroots to look like they're going under there. And I'm going to do the same thing in here. Alrighty, now let's work on more of Drupe. So one of the things that I like to do with Drupe in general is, so I think of these as sets of parallel lines. So I'm going to get my bigger pen and I'm just going to take the top of each line and just make that darker. So the next thing that I'm going to do in Drupe is I think I'm going to draw these in because I have space for that. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to do is make some lines. I like to use my very small pen to make kind of little flicks from the bottom of each of these. So kind of like that. I don't count them or anything. I just kind of try to fill up that little curve. We can also put a couple here if you can fit some. So that is the rest of the stuff that I want to do with the Drupe. And so now I'm going to get to the shading. One of the things that I really like to do with this is I like to kind of highlight the edge, or darken that edge right there with some graphite. So everywhere where the little flicks touch is going to get some. I did that, okay. And then just spread that out a little bit. And then another thing I want to do is just kind of darken the middle here. I'm not going to go all the way up to the edge, but I definitely want to get some here in the middle. and make like a little gradient going up a little bit. That looks pretty cool now, huh? I really dig that. Okay, so, oh, let me do this part. So now the Pokeroot, I'm just gonna kind of shade it simply. And what I'm gonna do is kind of, if they're touching, okay, I'm gonna put a little bit there. And most of them are kind of touching each other. So then put that on the one side. And the ones that are kind of in the forefront, what I'm going to do with those is put like a little frowny face of stuff that's left on my tortilla. And that is our Drupe and Pokeroot.